Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store, Forged Irish Stout. We're here, Paul Smith in Manchester, Stephen Clarke on the card, someone who I know you're very eager to see back out. Spoke to him just now, and for the first 2 fights, he's had 2 pretty big occasions, Liverpool, and I know one of his favourite arenas is this one at the AO. How promising is this young talent who's, very early on still, but promising?
Very promising. There's nothing stopping him doing what many of the other boxers that have been in his position, just from the rotunda alone, myself and my 3 brothers, Tony Bellew, Natasha Jonas, all win the ABAs and then turn professional and try and win titles as pros, and that's what we all did. That's what Steve can do. It hasn't always been the case. There's been good boxers from the rotundas who've won the ABAs and perhaps not made it in the pros for whatever reason or another, but there's nothing stopping him doing it. He's just got to be matched right, guided right, trained right, which I believe he's receiving all 3 of those. And then he's got to have the opportunities also. You need a good promoter or promoters or a good, to be on good shows and big shows. In his first 2 fights, he's been on both boxing and now Matchroom, and sold a lot of tickets on both. A lot of fans come to watch him fight. A lot of friends come to watch him, and listen, the sky's the limit. It's up to him. It's up to how hard he works, which he works very hard, and how much he's willing to put into this game to get out and see how far he can go.
He spoke to me a little bit off camera. I touched it in his interview about, look, he sells a bucket load of tickets. I actually think that is, as much as the talent and the watching it, to sell that amount, the 400 plus, I think is extremely impressive. I don't care where you come from, because people at top end don't sell that sometimes, and it's just one of them things. But in terms of where he can go, in Liverpool we've sort of seen this evolution of fighters now, this like the wheel sort of turning for your likes of himself, your Jack Turner coming through, and all these other fighters. He could be one of them sort of leading the charge in years to come, couldn't he?
He certainly could, yeah. Liverpool will always have good fighters from there without being big-headed or without sounding cocky. I'm not. It's just the fact that it's a boxing city. It always has been. Belfast will always have good fighters. London itself will always have champion fighters. It's sort of ingrained in the cities. Steve can certainly lead the way in Liverpool, and have the rest coming through behind him. He will then lead the way as it does. Yeah. Paul Hockinson led it once, John Conte led it once, and then all our group that we had at the time led it. That's how it is, and it's a pleasure to be even a part of that boxing scene in Liverpool, growing up in Liverpool and being a young boxing fan. Steve's in a privileged position now, and not a lucky position. I almost said that because he's worked really hard to do it, but he's applied his trade in the amateurs. He's had a great amateur apprenticeship, so to speak, at the Rotunda Boxing Club, where many other boxers who I've already mentioned have competed and done really well, and obviously very good before us as well, with the likes of Frosty and Mick Jones and all them, the Fordens and all are coming through. But now it's the pro game, and now it's not just about the tickets, as I was saying, but if you want to be fighting as a young pro now, you have to be able to sell tickets, or you have to be able to fight exceptionally well. It helps if you can do both, and Steve's not just a ticket seller, he's ABA champion, and he's a top prospect, and I believe in him. That's why I'm managing him, and it was great to be asked by him to manage Steve and training him. It's testament to it as well, because Stephen is involved with good fighters, and Stephen fits the bill. Steve Clarke fits the bill.
100%, and obviously with your brother training him as well. I know he's down there with Charlie at the minute. How are you sort of enjoying this part of your sort of boxing journey? Because we see a lot of fighters when they stop fighting, they find it difficult, but I feel like yourself, your brother, it's always just still a part of your life. How are you enjoying this side of the fence, seeing, guiding young fighters? And you've been through a lot in boxing, the ups, the downs, back ups and back downs, and you can sort of pass on all your knowledge to these guys. How much are you sort of enjoying that, and being able to do that, whereas sometimes you don't always get that lenient advice when you're coming up?
No, you don't, and that's the whole point of me wanting to manage. I want to pass on what I know. I want to pass on what I did well, do more of that. What I didn't do well, make sure that you do well, and don't make the mistakes that are out there, because I've got a lot of experience in the game. But listen, like anything, there's far too many people in boxing who are managing fighters and training fighters, and it's all about them and their ego. It's not about me, it's about the kid. If he makes it, I make it. If Liv, the girl I manage, Liv, will see if she makes it, I make it. If the other lads that I manage make it, then I make it. If they don't make it, I shouldn't make it. And it's not about the trainer or the manager. I'm sick to death of seeing it in boxing.
Do you think that's too much now? I want to say accessories, but the other part is maybe taking limelight.
just drives me on a bend. I've had my career. I loved every bit of it. You know, the good, the bad, I embrace it all now. I'm 6 years retired, nearly 7 years retired. So I've lost the bitterness towards the shitty side of the game, and it all happened for a reason. It all brought me here to where I am. I'm happy. I'm healthy. I've got a brilliant family. I've got a good, you know, life at home and everything else, and I'm happy. And that's it. It could have been different, absolutely, but you can't live that way. In boxing, you've got to give everything you've got, and if you're doing that blindfolded or naive and not knowing it, you're going to come across obstacles. The game's full of dogs also who are going to rob people and overcharge people, and they're not honest or don't say the right thing. I know managers have in the past who've give one fighter to lose so they can get another one on TV and all that. You know, I'm talking 20 years ago, but that happens, and it shouldn't happen. If a kid's putting the trust in you to manage them, then you should manage them. And I'll only manage fighters probably who I can have a good relationship with. I want to care about you. I've got to care about you to fight for you, and I will fight for you. But ultimately, it's about the fighter, and the fighter's got to receive the limelight, the praise, the credit, and not the trainer or the manager standing there doing it. And so I don't want to be one of them people, and I try not to. But like Anthony Crawler this week. And,
he loves it. I think Rhiannon said, "Don't worry, it's all about Ant this week."
Honestly, I love the little banter between them both. It's great, and he cares about her, and he likes the girl, and vice versa. And she's a good fighter, and she's a lovely person, and I really want to see them do well. But this is about Steve's journey is Steve's journey. The other fighters that I manage, that will be their journeys. It's not about me. But if I can guide them, if he does really well, I'm going to do really well, and that'll be great if we can all get there together. Especially as you mentioned with Stephen training the fighters also. He's a quality trainer. Got a lot to pass on, a lot of knowledge to pass on, and listen, most of it, like I think, is common sense. You know, boxing people in our family, in our gym, in the Thunder, and in the circle that we keep, so to speak, and if we can pass it on and it helps fighters, brilliant. If it's not good, it's not good. We'll soon find out.
Well, look, it's doing well so far, and it's done well for fighters of the past, and you know, long may it continue. I want to get your opinion on the actual card itself. The main event, everyone I speak to, I think because of how Jordan Gill performed last time out against Michael Conlon, and obviously Zelfa's been at that level before, challenged for Rakimov in Abu Dhabi, and it came very, very close. Everyone's saying, look, can't hand on heart tell you who's going to win this fight. Genuinely don't know. Do you have an idea or somewhere where you'd lean, either looking at them this week or just judged on what they've done so far in the career?
Yep, I've had a little bet on the races today. If I had to have a bet on the fight, I won't be betting it's that close, so I won't have a bet. But if I had to, I'd probably put it on Barrett. I felt he was brilliant. Gill against Colin, obviously, as you said, and he's a quality fighter. He's a lovely lad. I really like him. I like both fighters. The good people. Get on with them both. And I'm going to like watching it. I'm going to enjoy watching it. I said this before. They're very evenly matched, in my opinion. And even asset wise and the tools that they've got, they're quite similar in my opinion to what I see. They've both got very good speed. You know, they're both not the most concussive punches, but they can crack. And you know, I think it's a very evenly matched fight, in my opinion. It's one I'm really looking forward to. But if I had to side with one, I'll probably side with Barrett.
Let's come on to next week. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. A lot made of the build up to this, especially from Ryan's side. I mean,
I'm surprised it's happening myself personally. Yeah.
I was going to say, from obviously some position you're in now, where you're looking after fighters and things like that. The outside looking in when you see him doing certain things. I know someone has said, look, he's, you know, at the end of the day, people talking about it, it's trolling, so it's selling tickets. But we see that all the time. But this, for me, when you look at it, it's like it's almost too far, in my opinion. But looks like the fight's happening. But outside looking in, just give me your take.
As you say, if that's a fight that I manage, I'm probably going to think you shouldn't be fighting because you don't look well. But if he passes the tests and he is well, you just tell the manager he's sacked, he's fired, and he won't be involved in the fight. Then we're going to get new managers for less percentage. So it's a tough one. That's probably why the fight's happening, and he probably has passed all the medical requirements that are needed to get him to the fight. But he didn't look well. He didn't look in a good place. Garcia, I don't know him. I don't think I've ever met him, to be honest with you. So it's not really for me to say. I can't judge on it like that. But it's a fight. It's a fight that's happening. It's a fight I see Haney winning well and probably knocking him out, probably stopping him. But it reminds me of little things similar, like I'm older, obviously, little similar things like Oliver McCall and that, you know, the way it just doesn't look stable mentally to go into this type of fight. And we've seen it with fighters many more than McCall. I'm trying to think of a couple, but it just doesn't look right. And if you're not right mentally 100%, the ring's one of the worst places in the world to be.
Yeah, truth always comes out. Well, look, we're looking forward to seeing Steve do his thing on Saturday. Appreciate you giving us some of your time, and we look forward to what's going to be a good weekend of boxing. So thank you for joining us on Boxing Social.